Hey guys, this is Minecraft. I'm going to be trying something new here. So this is an Osmars Multiport USB-C Adapter with Ethernet USB ports and all that. I got it to test out with my GPD Win here. This is and was provided to me at a discounted rate from Amazon. However, that's not going to influence my review at all, and I've already also opened it up and tested everything out. And there are some points of criticism with this thing. The first one being that you can see I have this case open. This zipper snags on this, it's like a fake fox leather case. And it's pretty nice if the zipper worked all the time, but the zipper did get caught up. And it's not the end of the world, but I can't open it with only one hand. So inside the box you get like a little manual that tells you some basic things, but it's mostly just advertisements, some other products. And then there's the adapter inside of this like packaging case. So this here's the USB-C adapter. So you see that there's two USB ports, one Ethernet, a USB-C port, which is only for power pass-through. According to the box, it goes up to 12 volts, 2 amps, which is good for the GPD Win 2, but as you'll see soon, it can actually do a little more than that. On the other side, there's an HDMI port and a VGA port. I've tested both of these, and it both works very well. In fact, I was able to play some Sunshine running on the Win 2 through this HDMI port. They can't work both at the same time. If you have them both plugged in, it'll only do HDMI. So if you have VGA plugged in and you plug in HDMI, it'll just shut down the VGA and switch directly to HDMI. So you can only have one at a time. It's made out of some aluminum, probably because that's what Apple likes to use with their MacBooks, and it's probably the market that this was originally made for. But it does work very well with this. And also, in this video, I've also been provided from a separate source this Skyroku weight scale, which actually works very well as well. And the reason I got this is so that if I continue to do these, including this one, I can give you guys a good sense of the weight. So it comes with this AA batteries, tweezers for really tiny objects, and the calibration weight, which I already calibrated it with. It's 100 grams, so if I turn this on, you can see that it's zeroed out, and it's actually overloading on this item. So one of the nice things about this particular scale is if I hit mode, and then I hit this button here, I can set it to 10 grams, and then use this 100 gram weight to calibrate it to 10 grams. So now if I take that off, it's going to zero out. But now if I put this on, so it says 11.4. If you times it by 100, 104.4 grams. So a little bit heavy for an adapter. Similarly, I can throw the GPD Win 2 on here, and you can see that it's going to be like 457.5 grams. So this thing works really well. Don't know how accurate it is for the kind of cheaty way that I just used it, but it's going to be helpful for some things in the future. And anyway, back to the USB-C adapter here. It does work well. In fact, let me get my USB-C power meter thing plugged in here, and then plug this into it, because it actually all functions work without the power pass-through. And I'm trying to do this all in one take to make it easier for me. Of course, I kind of knew that was backwards. So you can see right now, with no power pass-through, it's going to the adapter, and right now it's giving 3.2 amps. Now, there are a couple other issues that I noticed with this thing is with the USB ports. One of them, and they are labeled like this, one of them only outputs, I don't think I can get them maybe you can see that. The top one only outputs at half an amp, and the bottom one outputs at just under an amp. So, not the greatest power supply ever, but for those USB ports, but most devices will be fine with that. And also, I noticed that when you plug in USB devices here, and you unplug, so plugging it in doesn't do anything, but if you unplug external power from this USB-C port here, while there's USB devices in here, they'll disconnect and reconnect, sort of like the issue with the GPD Win. I tried it on my Galaxy S8 phone as well, which this did work with. Same issue, so that must be a problem with this itself. But otherwise, it does seem to work quite well. So let me plug in the power adapter that I'm using for my GPD Win. And as you'll see, this will switch off, switch back on. That charging light's now blinking. And you can see that we are at 15 volts and currently 1 amp, but I've seen it go up to 1.5. Probably because it's in sleep, so if I wake it, yeah, I don't know. But it does go up to that. So let me just type in my password really quick. So I have Skyroku still opened up. Now one of the things that people mentioned were that in other Amazon reviews and stuff was that these Ethernet ports are faulty. But on mine at least, everything works well and I'm getting full Ethernet speeds. You can see it just popped up there. So now, let me plug this HDMI port in. Let me try without the meter. So there's another tiny thing. I guess it doesn't, that's more my meter than the adapter. There we go. So this thing doesn't allow HDMI pass-through. Good to know. But if you see, if I start up something like Sunshine again, and then full screen that'll be up there too. I don't have the sound hooked up, but that does work. You can see that everything there works fine. So just to quickly show you what I was talking about before, I have two USBs plugged in. These are both SanDisk UltraFit to 256 gig ones. I bought one originally, but they were on sale a couple days ago and were like half price, so I had to buy a second one. So I got two of these now. You can also see that the USB ports face away from each other, so it's either a good thing or a bad thing depending on what you're trying to use with it, obviously. So I plug this into the back, like so. You'll see that they're both going to pop up. Now the one that's used, the one that I'm currently using in D, is the brand new one that's got pretty much nothing on it. So you can see right now, you know, everything's fine. I can open it up. I can see the Android stuff because I plugged this into the Android phone to make sure that this worked with my S8 as well. And of course Android decided to throw crap on there. And then this is the Windows drive that I'm using, which Android couldn't see because that one is NTFS and this is probably still exFAT. So if I plug in this USB charging again, you can see, you know, everything's still fine, no big deal. But if I now unplug this, drives are gone, drives come back. So that is an issue, and it happens every time you do that. Probably the biggest and only problem with this thing that I've seen, unless you want to count the case zipper being iffy as a problem. So that is something to keep in mind. So as you can see, the VGA port does work too. And I currently also have those two USBs and Ethernet plugged in, as you can see. All of that works fine. If I then plug in the HDMI though, you'll see that the VGA goes off, but the monitor detects that there's now a signal. So if you plug in both, only HDMI will work. And as you can see, all this is working while it's not powered, but it'll work when it's powered as well. It does say there's gigabit internet, but I don't have that. I can show that through the Ethernet. It does work pretty damn well. This is how fast my internet actually is. So, I mean, there's not much more I can test with it. Seems to work pretty well. Upload's been a little bit slower. Usually I'm at 30. This was doing like 20, 25 before, now it's doing 15, but it's probably my router. I don't know what's wrong with the main router, or maybe the modem. And sometimes my upload speed just decides it doesn't want to. So overall, pretty decent adapter. It's got its flaws, like the case. And I personally don't like that it's made out of aluminum because it scratches easily, but it's more of blaming Apple for making something for them to mimic than there being a problem. Well, it's still made of aluminum, so I wish people would stop making stuff like that because it just scratches and it doesn't feel super great, in my opinion. It gets a little warm, but nothing too crazy. Again, a special thanks to Osmars for providing me this at a discounted price, as well as Skyroku for providing this pocket scale to help me measure and weigh things, which I'll use in future videos of these if you guys like these. As far as the proper GPD Win 2 review, I'll be going through that shortly, but with Dolphin at the very least, with GameCube and Wii, seems like that's pretty much all set. Same tricks as last time, except CPU override doesn't do that much anymore because it's now more of a GPU limitation when you try to upscale. But overall, I would say that that's it for this video. That GPD Win overview thing should be out in the coming month, probably next month. See you next time, guys.